So I had a trade. I was trading, I think, 10 Ether for like a shitcoin that I wanted. And in the end, when the trade was finished, I ended up having only $200 of the other token.
Hey everyone, so Chain Newbie here at Token 2049. So we're here with a very familiar face for those who do not know who he is.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Aleksander, one of the co-founders of Mavis and Axie Infinity. Now also Ronin Network. So suddenly doing quite a lot of things in the blockchain space the past 4.5 years.
Yeah, so Axie Infinity, big guys in the gaming space. So I think before I go deeper into the game itself, so what inspired you to go into gaming?
When we look back at when we started out, I think our goal was always to create a game where people could own their own digital items, and then eventually kind of steamroll from there. We started interacting or creating a token economy. We started making a player-owned economy, and then eventually, it started taking off. So yeah, that was we wanted people to own their own assets. That was it.
Great. And before Axie, what were you doing? What was your background like?
Oh, actually, I've got a background from Norwegian state. It's totally different from blockchain, but I was always creating communities and always playing. I was playing competitive like Warcraft 3, Dota 2, and also trading game assets forever before they were even on chain. Love Diablo 2 as well. So I've been a gamer my entire life, I guess, and that's. I wanted to work in the traditional gaming industry, but I felt like it was very difficult in the sense that the margins were so tight. So when we had an opportunity to go into a new industry and really have an impact, it was very, I sacrificed my life for that.
So I think one of the big news that happened last year was the Ronin Bridge Hack. So for those that don't know, could you give us a little bit of a rundown on what happened?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been a very rough time. So basically what happened is that a part of our validator set got compromised, and that led to North Korea being able to siphon off a big part of the funds that were in the bridge. Looking back at it, we do trade-offs all the time to be able to go to market fast, and that's a big reason for the adoption that Axie Infinity had. Looking back at it, maybe some trade-offs shouldn't have been made. But I'm very happy how we handled the situation. All of the funds have been restored for the people who had it. We took the bill ourselves. So yeah, I mean, it's a very expensive learning lesson. And I think for the entire industry, right, should be moving into a zero trust direction where, you have to assume that anyone can get compromised at literally any time, just because there's so much money in the space. And, that also attracts the most sophisticated hackers in the world, which is Lazarus.
Yeah, so back when the hack happened, how did it feel and how were you able to maintain your conviction?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a very strange feeling when you wake up one morning and of course everything that you have been working for, there's a chance that maybe it can go under. But historically, Mavis, the team, we've been very good at solving problems over time. And I think this was just one of those moments where you have to go back down into why are we even operating in the space? Is there a solution in sight? Because giving up really never was an option. So we had to really just solve the problem one step at a time. Work closely with our board of directors, our investors, and figured out a solution pretty fast. Very proud of that, of course. Managed to reassure the markets, and that led us to get some time so that we were able to refill the bridge.
That's great, and I think a few days ago, I think maybe it was yesterday, Google Cloud announced that they were running a validator node as well on you guys. So how does that change the game for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very important step in the sense of rebuilding trust with the community. I think historically the Axie players have always had a lot of faith in us. I think the crypto community as a whole was maybe a little bit shook because of the size of the incident. Having Google now and also other big parties that will potentially be joining, I think it's just another mark that Mavis is here to stay. And I think that people can trust that Ronin Network will become bigger in the future, because it's not only about Axie, it's more a sense of a standalone blockchain network similar to more other layer ones, which is focused on blockchain gaming, only that.
So many people say P2E games are not really that sustainable. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think P2E or play to earn has a different meaning for many people around the world. I think the unfortunate connotation is that people believe that play to earn means that they should be able to earn a living from playing all of these games without much effort. It's just supposed to be this cash machine. In reality, the games that are using NFTs, I think they will always, if they have player-owned economies, they will have the opportunity for people to make a living inside the games. But those are it's going to be in any capitalist society, right? The best players or the people who work the hardest are going to be able to extract some value, but it's also going to be about like how much do you put in terms of time, in terms of effort. I think these are things that people are kind of got abstracted away, and it only became about harvesting yield in the same sense that defiled gear farming was a thing. In reality, for play to earn or own or whatever you want to say, basically blockchain gaming to work, you need to put in some effort and then you need to be able to extract tokens. And if you do it in the right way, those tokens may have some value. So I think that's really where we're headed now, into a more like sustainable kind of game economies that we're shipping.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, the whole goal, like when it comes to designing play-to-earn games, is to just make it fun, right? I guess that's what's gonna push adoption for games.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just like to turn it like play and own. So when you're playing a game, I think all players deserve to have digital property rights. They deserve to own their game assets, and they deserve to bring them with them as they're finished with the game, and to be able to get some of the like potential revenue or the returns as they put a lot of money into these games. But of course, it has to be with the game design, and a lot of these games are very early on, right? It's still early stages in this industry, so there's a lot of experimentation going on. And I think a lot of the people that are making sizable bets, they also need to be aware of the risks here. And also the narrative that is sometimes shaped around this is not necessarily correct. So definitely we have a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah, and what do you think will bring about the next wave of adoption when it comes to crypto or also gaming as a whole?
Yeah, I think as these projects or these products are maturing, you'll see better games coming into market. I mean, in Axie, we jokingly like to say that Axie is the new Axie, because we're now releasing a new game, which is called Axie Origins. It's in early access. It's soon going to be available on the Apple stores and also Google Play. At least that's the intention. And once that happens, we think there's going to be another kind of massive moment in time where potential millions of players will be coming into the blockchain space. And I think like Axie is as one proxy for the blockchain gaming space. There will be other games, other different genres, ideally that are partnered with us, of course, that we are focusing on. We believe that most of the usage will come from emerging markets that are focused on mobile games. It's easier to onboard, you don't need a PC at all. So yeah, and there are a lot of people around the world who just don't even have a PC. So that's only what we're focused on for now.
Great. And I think let's move on to a little bit more on general markets as a whole. So we're in a bear market, so how are you navigating this? Are you like mainly in stables, or are you still active in the whole crypto in this ecosystem?
I mean, I'm a perma bull, so I'm always long. I don't do any trades pretty much at all. So my position has been the same. I did take some gains in the last, when it was massively bull market, and I guess I have been DCAing a little bit in. I have stables. I think we're closing in on the bottom though. It doesn't, even though here when we're at token 2049, so many people, it certainly feels like it's very still bull mode here. Maybe when I'm looking at this conference, I feel like maybe there should be some more bleeding before we have deserved to enter a new bull market. But really, it's just going to come down to as products get shipped, more people start building conviction into these products and then start to really understand the benefits that this technology can bring. So I think that's basically everything that we're focused on. Like, how can we make sure that people around the world understand that crypto is more than just speculation, and that's when the prices will eventually go up.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to do here is to just build, no matter whether it's a bull or bear market. And I think on a more personal note, so in all of your years of doing crypto, what was your most degen story?
I've done a lot of good things. I probably don't want to talk about too much about it, but I'll talk about my most failed trade, I think, of all time. It was before, just after Uniswap had been created. We didn't know anything about slippage. We didn't know anything about AMMs really. So I had a trade. I was trading, I think, 10 Ether for a shitcoin that I wanted. And then and that was $2,000. And in the end, when the trade was finished, I ended up having only $200 of the other token. It was a disaster because it was so I didn't realize that slippage was the thing. And there was no warning, there was no nothing. You just the trade went through and I was like, oh, what the fuck happened here? So that's many, many years ago now though. So I mean, you won't make the same mistake again, right?
So how are you liking Singapore and token 2049 so far?
I mean, I love Singapore. I mean, it's the people are great, the food is great, it's very clean here. I think we have a lot of friends here, so definitely we'll be coming back. Our company is also Singaporean, so overall bullish on the scene here. It's painful what happened obviously with 3AC. I think a lot of people here are feeling that, but overall there's definitely a sense of bullishness.
And what's your favorite part of going to conferences aside from the free drinks?
Actually, I try to drink as little as possible now. And it's not the same. As I've become more busy, I don't have this the chance meetings, the chance encounters that I used to have. I always found that it's a great opportunity to get to know people in different layers of the stack. Right now, I mostly talk to executives, but I try to also be a part of the community to get a sense of what people are doing. So, like getting to know the people, seeing people that you have like interacted with online before, and just like chance encounters to meet someone who might be be creating the next big thing.
Yeah, and speaking of creating the next big thing, what advice do you have for builders in the space if they want to create a successful project?
Yeah, I mean, it's very general advice, but just always be focused on the user experience first, like why and what kind of problem are you solving for, rather than, and I think also like trying to target a bigger market. Like I don't believe in focusing on crypto Twitter or whatever. I don't really care what that period or those people in the industry thinks. What I'm more focused on is solving problems for millions of users. Like how do we onboard millions, if not hundreds of millions of players into this ecosystem? And that means that you really have to look outside this little bubble that we're in, because the people who are here, they're not going to be the next customers for everyone, I think. Of course, like depending on what kind of product that you're building. If you are building for these here, then you definitely need to have a solid business model that is very expensive, I would say, because there's not that many people still, degens, I would call them, right?
All right, wise words from Aleksander, CEO and co-founder of Sky Mavis. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.